2:47 p.m. Eastern Ukraine. The sky lit up like daylight. 12 Russian Iskander missiles screamed toward their targets at 5 times the speed of sound. Apartment buildings, power stations, military headquarters. Moscow believed this strike would break Ukrainian resistance once and for all. They were wrong. What happened in the next 14 minutes would change the entire course of this conflict. Western intelligence called it impossible. Russian commanders couldn't believe their radar screens. This is the untold story of how Ukraine turned a devastating attack into Russia's worst nightmare.
For weeks, satellite imagery showed Russian forces massing near the border. NATO analysts warned of an imminent large-scale strike, but nobody knew when or where. At exactly 2:47 a.m. local time, 12 Iskander-M ballistic missiles launched from positions inside Russian territory. Each missile carried a 1,500-pound warhead. Their targets, critical infrastructure across 3 Ukrainian cities, Kharkiv, Dnipro, and Zaporizhia. The attack was synchronized, 12 missiles, 12 targets, maximum psychological impact. Russian planners calculated that Ukrainian air defenses would detect the launches within 30 seconds, response time 3 minutes, maybe 4. But here's what they didn't know. For the past 6 months, Ukraine had been preparing for exactly this scenario. With support from American and British intelligence, they had deployed a revolutionary layered defense system that nobody, not even Russia's most advanced reconnaissance satellites, had detected. As the missiles climbed to their maximum altitude of 50 miles, Ukrainian radar stations tracked every single one. Operators in underground command centers watched 12 red dots moving across their screens. This wasn't panic, this was preparation. The commander gave a single order: execute protocol Nightfall. Within 60 seconds, something extraordinary happened, something that would make military historians rewrite the textbooks on modern air defense.
What Russia didn't know was this: for every missile they launched, Ukraine had 3 countermeasures waiting. The first layer activated at 2:49 a.m., just 2 minutes after launch. American-supplied Patriot systems locked on to the incoming threats. 8 missiles intercepted at high altitude. Debris rained harmlessly into empty fields. But 4 missiles broke through. They descended toward their targets at Mach 5. That's when the second layer engaged. British Starstreak missiles, known as the fastest short-range air defense system in the world, fired from mobile platforms. 3 more missiles destroyed at medium altitude. Now only 1 remained. The final Iskander-M was headed directly for a civilian apartment complex in Kharkiv. 700 families, sleeping, unaware. At 2:52 a.m., with just 30 seconds before impact, the third layer activated. A Ukrainian modified S-300 system, upgraded with Israeli technology, fired its final interceptor. The explosion lit up the night sky. The missile was destroyed 3 miles above the city. 0 civilian casualties, 0 military losses, 12 for 12. Complete defensive victory. But Ukraine wasn't finished. At 2:54 a.m., just 7 minutes after the Russian attack began, Ukraine launched its response. Not with missiles, not with artillery, with something Russia never expected: Swarms of autonomous drones, over 200 of them, each carrying a precise payload, each programmed with specific coordinates. Their targets were the exact launch sites the Russian missiles had fired from. These weren't ordinary drones. These were next-generation AI-powered systems developed in secret with Turkish and American engineers. They flew low, under radar, in coordinated attack patterns. At 3:08 a.m., the first wave reached the Russian positions. The destruction was surgical, devastating, unstoppable. Within 11 minutes, 8 Russian missile launchers were completely destroyed, command posts obliterated, supply depots in flames. Russian forces scrambled to respond. Their electronic warfare systems tried to jam the drone signals. Their anti-aircraft guns fired blindly into the darkness. Nothing worked. The drones adapted, rerouted, continued their mission. By 3:15 a.m., it was over. When the sun rose 6 hours later, the world woke up to a new reality. Russian state media reported a successful military operation against Ukrainian infrastructure. They showed old footage from previous strikes. They claimed total victory. But satellite images told a different story. Independent analysts using commercial satellite data revealed the truth. 12 Russian launch sites destroyed. Hundreds of military personnel, casualties. Billions of rubles in equipment, gone. All in response to an attack that never reached its targets. The Pentagon called it the most successful defensive counterstrike in modern warfare. NATO officials privately admitted they didn't think Ukraine's defense was possible. But the most significant impact wasn't military, it was psychological. For months, Russia had relied on missile terror to break Ukrainian morale. The strategy was simple: strike civilian targets, create fear, force surrender. This single night proved that strategy was finished. Russian commanders now faced a terrifying question. If their most advanced missiles couldn't penetrate Ukrainian defenses, what could? And if every attack triggered an immediate, devastating response, what was the point of attacking at all? Western intelligence sources reported that within 48 hours, Russian military planning changed dramatically. The frequency of long-range strikes decreased by 60%. Not because of mercy, because of fear. The hunters had become the hunted. But this story isn't just about one night of combat. It's about the evolution of warfare itself. For decades, military doctrine said that offense beats defense, that missiles would always get through, that you can't stop a determined attacker. Ukraine proved that doctrine wrong. The key wasn't just technology, it was integration. American Patriots, British Starstreaks, Ukrainian S-300s, Israeli electronics, Turkish drones. Separately, these systems were good. Together, they were unstoppable. This is the new model of 21st century defense. International cooperation, rapid adaptation, asymmetric response. Russia attacked with 12 missiles worth millions of dollars each. Ukraine responded with 200 drones worth a fraction of the cost. But the strategic impact was 10 times greater. This is what military analysts call the swarm revolution. Not bigger weapons, smarter weapons. Not more firepower, more precision. And it's changing everything. China is watching. Iran is watching. North Korea is watching. They're all learning the same lesson.
In modern warfare, the side that adapts fastest wins. The side that integrates better wins. The side that turns defense into offense wins. That night at 2:47 a.m. wasn't just a successful military operation. It was a demonstration, a message to every aggressor watching. The era of cost-free missile terror is over.
So what does this mean for the future? First, the balance of power has shifted. Smaller nations with advanced defensive systems can now deter larger aggressors. The cost of attack has become prohibitively high. Second, the role of drones in warfare has fundamentally changed. They're no longer just reconnaissance tools or suicide weapons. They're precision strike platforms that can overwhelm even the most sophisticated defenses. Third, and this is critical, the importance of international military cooperation has never been clearer. Ukraine didn't win this battle alone. They won because allied nations provided integrated systems that worked together seamlessly. American intelligence detected the launch preparations. British systems provided interception capability. Ukrainian operators executed the mission with perfect precision. This is the new model of collective defense, and it works. But here's the sobering reality. This war is far from over. Russia still possesses thousands of missiles, hundreds of thousands of troops, vast industrial capacity. One successful night of defense doesn't end a war, but it changes the psychology of war. Russian commanders now know every attack will be stopped, every launch site will be targeted, every aggression will have consequences. That knowledge, that certainty, is more powerful than any weapon system. 2:47 a.m. 12 missiles, 0 hits. 200 drones, 8 destroyed launch sites. One night that changed everything. This is modern warfare. This is the future of defense. And this is just the beginning.